sorry to everyone who's watching the stream, we're going to be very sweaty. It's going to be a very warm and sweaty stream. But
yeah, and we're going to shout at you because we've also got a few... Hi, by the way. Yeah, we've also got a few audio challenges. So we've had to, one, turn off all the fans in the room, which means slowly, in fact not even slowly, very quickly, we're beginning to drip with sweat because it is incredibly hot in London right now. Ooh, let's turn off any sounds that might be coming through from Dublin. And it also means that you can probably hear a background noise, you can hear a train going past, so we're going to shout to you so that you can hear us loud and clear. And this is also going to be probably a reasonably quick AMA in favour of a longer one in an air-conditioned unit at some point in the soon future, or it'll get colder, as is traditional in the United Kingdom.
so point number one, what are we at?
Point number one, well,
the
first,
basics.
Probably you already have met Liam through all of the various cool bits of video that he's been doing and the introduction on Instagram, but if not?
Yeah, well, so I've just joined recently, last couple of months, and so I've just been doing all the little videos that you've seen on Instagram, little snippets, basically showing what Dubler can do, trying to keep you guys excited and informed about stuff we're doing. So yeah, which leads us to today, which is another point of information and excitement, hopefully. So
he's one of those really annoying people that picked up Dubler straight away and was a better user than any of us that have been working on it for the last 3 years. But never mind. It's just given us all aspirations of how we can get better. And part of that, to be honest, is about setting up good sets.
Yes.
And there'll be more content on that in the future. So yeah, the things that we're running through today, just hit this too fast and it's absolutely boiling. Yeah. The things we're running through today. Basics of the Dubler Studio kit, how to get started with our tech. That sounds like there's a whole video in its own right. Okay, but we're going to do that briefly.
There is actually a video coming out on that.
Yes, I've done a video on that coming up. But basically, we've got a lot of new people joining. We've got some new reach. So if there's anyone new, we're going to just do a very super quick run through of like the basis of what it does. So whatever we talk about in this video, hopefully you have a foundation of that.
Okay, so that's 1. 2 updates from when we went to Barcelona. We've just come back from Sonar plus D. That was great. 3, we're going to reveal a slightly new look. It's actually an in-progress new look reskin that we're doing, and there's a few other things to change in the UX between now and when we actually release towards the end of October. But anyway, we'll get onto that later, and then we've also got a few questions and demo requests, and we'll hit those too.
Yeah. So we'll start with the basics then. So if I'll move straight over to, there you go, into Dubler. That's pink. So basically, super quickly, as we're working, you've basically got the two sides. You've got triggers and control and pitch. So left side, we'll quickly look at.
Is this being shown on?
Yes. So they're seeing the screen right now. Yeah. So oh, there you go. Picking up. So we'll start with the trigger side, which is drums. So in Ableton here, let me get this. So I've just got an 808 core kit in Ableton. We've got bass drum here, which I've basically recorded for like a sound, if you can hear that. Got a side stick, which I've done to record on a sound.
So not to interrupt right now, but here you're also seeing halfway through the reskin.
Yes, of course, we revealed the skin.
Yeah.
This is the new skin as well, the dark skin.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Tell us what you think.
It's not. I'm caveating this. Not 100% finished yet. So as you saw when that sidebar came up, some of it's still kind of white and wireframey. But yeah.
It's getting smoother. Yeah, you'll see it in action as we go. But yeah, so we'll just get that the bass and sort of the kick drum. I mean, you can hear that. So super simple. We've got this two thing. And for people who don't know about learning other things, we get rid of this one. If you want to add a trigger, say there's like the hand clap on an 808, can you hold this for a second? Mm-hmm. Press record, and you can also do claps and clicks as well as your voice. So, and yeah, hand clap, literally to hand clap, which is quite fun. Oh, got off that one. Yeah. And you've got those three sounds there.
So I don't. They're not seeing the video coming through there, right?
No, not video, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, you can hear it though. If we go back, if you want to see, hand clap.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Because it's impossible to tell which hand clap's the real hand
Yeah.
clap, right? Hopefully because the latency here is instant. It should be coming through to you, but going through OBS.
Yeah.
So you can have up to 8 of those. Obviously, at the moment, Liam's trained 3, 2 to the voice, 1 to the clap. But you could have up to 8. You could teach it any different sound you wanted.
Yeah. So just on that one. So yeah, then on the other side you've got pitch. I haven't really. So this is bright saw lead, not very nice sounding, but just to do it, show you quickly. As soon as picks up the pitch, and you also notice the vowels moving at the top, so it can pick up different vowels, A, E, U, and and yeah, also things like length and velocity. So, and then you can map also these vowel sounds to, if you see in Ableton here, you've got filter cutoff, envelope, resonance, all those things, or other effects. Basically, if you go on MIDI mapping, anything that's blue, that means you can map it, which is basically anything you want. So,
and you can actually, obviously this is the basic introduction, but you can actually also map other things. So for example, the triggers on the left hand side that we're seeing, those can also be mapped to stuff. So if you wanted to actually just trigger a drum loop or something like that, rather than a closed sample, you could also map those, or record and pause and whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully that is a super quick and basic run through, but if there's anyone new who's in there who doesn't know those basics, that's how it works.
You did the right thing to cut us off there, because I would have been totally into like, and you can do and.
Yeah,
you can do
I mean,
this.
as we do the other stuff, I'm sure you'll see even more stuff. But
okay.
Yeah. So next point.
Well,
Can I just jump in with a question from Instagram?
Yes, hit us with a question.
Can you do 12 notes at a time?
So I mean, the voice is monophonic. So I guess if you're talking about doing multiple
Can't
notes,
do 2 notes
yeah. So it would just do one and. Yeah.
No, I think the question there might have also been in reference to the fact that we did have a key fix on there, so you can
of course, yeah.
you can use Dubler. In fact, the default when you open it up here, we opened up one a profile that Liam had already created. The default would be that it's on chromatic, so you can actually play any note in the scale. But in order to get the best results, and also to allow you to kind of experiment a bit more freely, but also get a good sound out the other side of it, we tend to put a key fix on whatever.
Yeah. In terms of like other notes at a time as well, because it's just a MIDI controller or channel. If you've got other channels, they can, you play one note, you can have that going to however many different channels doing however many different sounds you want. If you want to transpose some of those channels as well, then yeah, you could get lots of different notes going on if you transpose certain channels. But yeah, that's.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a video on all the weird pitch related stuff you can do, because we did a little segment on that in one of the AMAs before to do with using some of the vowel controls to actually change on different channels, whether it was going up to a third or a fifth or like all this like weird stuff, but it's probably a bit too involved to start experimenting on now.
Another quick one just from James on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Does Dubler work with Machine? And the answer is yes. And go and check out our Instagram. So we're at Vochlea, and you'll see a video of Liam triggering.
Yeah, so on the machine, it's basically, in that video, we're just triggering some samples using our hands, but at the same time, we're beatboxing to sort of do beats. It's a great extension of the machine, because you're getting fiddly with it and playing. Sometimes you want to add more, but you've obviously only got, you're already working, so it's a good way to just instantly jump in with ideas.
Well, I think this is actually a very good segue into our update from Sonar, because one of the things we did do, and actually we're very grateful, native lent us a machine to take out. We took one with us as part of our demo, because we wanted to show that Dubler can be used on its own. You could use Dubler with just a free DAW. You could use it with GarageBand. You could use it with any of the different DAWs, but you can also use it with external hardware. And so we wanted to showcase this off a bit, and so we had a machine set up. And Cam made some really cool, after experimenting with it a few days, so for those of you who don't know, Sonar's music festival in Barcelona, and they have a kind of music tech hub part of it as well. So we had quite a few days to really explore and play around with the technology, which was really cool, because we were able to put it through its paces a bit and do very robust testing, messing around with it for 3 days straight, from between 10 and 8 every day, demoing it to people, stress testing it, using it in all sorts of different ways. and it performed really well, which was kind of the best thing we took away from the whole experience. But another few side good things were creating some really nice sets and getting to grips with using it with Machine. So and other things. So Cam created this really cool set with Machine. Maybe we'll do a little video on that at some point. But basically, he'd mapped a few of the effects to different like nice ethereal sounds and to arpeggiators and things like that. But also meant that you could do really easy, quick looping and automatic quantizing, building up a song very quickly. So yeah.
Yeah, that is Machine's strength. Is that it's how quick it is to build in. And so if you even go a step further to introduce your voice into that speed, it's super quick to start making tracks. But yeah,
and trying to think, if there's anything. What were the other main things from Sonar, Kelly? Kelly's sitting behind the Instagram camera.
I'm doing Instagram. I mean, for me, it was just so amazing to see everyone using the tech. We spend a lot of time, just us guys using it, and actually to be able to go out there and hundreds of people demo it, and for everyone to be so excited about it, just made us really excited for us to start delivering the kits to you guys, and we were just so hyped to see what you guys are going to get up to with it, because people were just instantly getting it, and it was really cool to see.
I think the other thing was because although you might think with it being a music festival that there'd be loads of loud music going on, actually in all the stand parks they didn't want any clashing sounds. They got everyone using it on headphones, which was kind of interesting. So we had multi-headphones coming off each setup we had, so that you could hear what was going on and hear what someone else was doing if you were listening to them. But it meant that if you weren't part of it, there's our table, and there's like the people that were exhibiting next to us, and they must have been like, what's going on over there? Because you could just see us going like da 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 da, whatever. But with the headphones on, it's like this. It's like augmented reality, really, because it's live dubbing over your voice, and you don't hear your voice, and you're just creating these sounds whilst you're doing it. And it meant that we just spent hours just messing around with it. Really, it was really good fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, Liam wasn't there, so.
Yeah, I had to go, unfortunately. I was in my room making little videos with Dubler, but yeah.
There's a few pictures both on Kickstarter update if you're one of our backers, and also on Instagram. To George's point, we don't have tons of video from it, unfortunately, because there wasn't a lot of out sounds. So,
no.
So we do have a couple. Yeah, we do have a couple of snaps, so you can get a bit of an idea of what it was like if you're interested.
But I think we probably will do a couple of short videos based on the sets that we produced while we were out there, taking the best of kind of what we did. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of already done that. So the next part is reveal the Dubler look and give a brief technical update.
Should we go back as well anyway to the new Dubler?
Yeah.
One of the good things as well that you can see. So we've got the vowel sounds which move a lot smoother than from the old ones you might have seen on Instagram and demos, like ah, and same with the pitch wheel as well. David's done a really good job of sort of restructuring that and how you see it move around and the different squares which sort of relate to the velocity.
And this ties in a little bit to the technical update. So this has been so there's a few different streams of stuff that's going on, one of which is to do with performance and making sure that even on the kind of older laptops that we're not going to have any problems with performance. And actually quite a lot of the challenge with that particularly is with Macs and with the visual performance, with the graphics rendering. So yeah, David's been really optimizing that to try and make it both smoother but also less demanding on the headroom.
Yeah, I guess that does move on to basically a tech update in general, about which David has given me notes. You have to excuse us if it's not super technical, but I'll pass on what he has been working on.
David did a short technical update, did he?
Yes, so there'll be one coming. It's on the Kickstarter update, and yeah, I mean we'll upload that so if people want to see it. But whoever's here now, if they want to take updates, we'll just run through. Yeah, so we just spoke about the UI and also the UX that they've been developing. So that's changed quite a lot. You're still working on that at the moment, aren't you? Trying to make sure, like, streamline it.
Well, there's a few things. There's actually quite a few things going on with that. So one of the things we really want to improve is the side menus. So one of the main points with Dubler is that it's really easy to use straight from the off. And we don't want it to be overcomplicated and all of these like plugins and stuff like that where it's just like 1,000 dials that you don't know what something's going on with your computer. 1,000 dials where you don't know what's going on. And so we wanted to keep it, pretty clear and straightforward and simple. But, as you start to implement stuff, you start to think, oh, wouldn't it be good if we've got these, like, and you think about key fixes and blah, 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 and how you can map things in MIDI. So obviously there is extra complexity there, and how you display that is kind of one of the things that we want to improve a bit. So at the moment we've got these side panel settings things, we're planning on doing a bit of work on improving that. There's also the rest of the reskin to complete kind of as part of that same piece.
Yeah, also Cam, who is our machine learning and AI sort of engineer, he's been basically gathering some more data as well, looking into that and making sure that, well, he's been doing lots of data analysis to really polish up the AI and machine learning, really make it key. We'll be doing more of that as well. We'll be training some more voices, gathering more data, just basically improving the overall experience.
Yeah, we haven't got to that point yet, right? But we were thinking that maybe reaching out to the community would be a cool thing to do, so that basically all of the backers, well, if they want, they can essentially have some of their vocal data as part of our product, which will mean that in theory it would work extra well for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, so the more data we get, the better it is. So yeah, it'd be good to maybe invite some people in and make some noise.
We'll send stuff in as well. We'll work it. We'll work out.
Yeah, but let us know if you're keen to do that, because that's something we're kind of excited about doing. So if it is something that you want to happen, just let us know and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Part of also what we said before about the graphics changes has been basically improving the CPU usage, so making sort of like reducing the CPU usage on things like graphics and trying to budget the CPU budget more efficiently. And then also we have basically refined the Windows build as well, so the Mac build was more developed, so now we've got basically a fully working Windows build that is completely production ready. It's Cam's implemented an ASIO driver for the microphone, which gives it a lot better latency.
It pretty much matches the Mac latency now.
Yeah, so now it it was struggling in comparison, but now Windows is basically up to scratch, and it's all ready to go.
Yeah, we'll do a video with PC as well, because everything we've done with has been on Mac so far.
Yeah.
And Cam, I was like super impressed with how Cam has got like a laptop, and it's pretty old, I think.
Yeah, it's essentially a Casio calculator with a slightly bigger screen. It's true though, it is like a £300, £350 laptop. Doesn't have any of the visual challenges that you get, or the rendering of the graphics, the challenges that you get with some of the Macs that don't have a built-in GPU. You would think, oh, Macs are amazing for visual stuff, right? That's their calling card. But actually, there's a £350 standard Windows laptop. Handles it absolutely great.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was like super, super impressive. So we'll definitely do a bit of that.
That's basically the tech update. I mean, so there'll be, like I said, a more in-depth one video going up soon where they'll really to the nitty-gritty. I don't want to, if I start, I'll start talking and, I won't really know what I'm talking about.
We've got a lot more updates on that coming. I think there's going to be a bit more on what's going on kind of under the hood. There'll be a bit more of that. There's going to be hopefully some functionality stuff to talk about, but at the moment we're just really focused on making sure that all the fundamentals work really well. So that's job number one.
Should we move on to basically questions?
Yeah.
Questions you guys sent in, questions you're asking now. So,
right, shall I ask a question?
Yeah, should we go with the first
Okay,
one?
Jeff Cock says, some of my MIDI instrument plugins have presets for different controller types. Wind controllers like AKEY, I'm not sure I know that. Breath controllers, keyboard controllers. Have you done any experiments to see which types of settings work best with Dubler? Specifically, I use audio modeling. God, I can't speak, it's the heat.
It's the heat, it's crazy.
Specifically, I use audio modeling swarm instruments, audiomodeling.com. It'd be great if you could include presets to give at least a starting point for different applications.
Yes.
So, the summary of that question was, are there any presets for the CC values for various different plugins and stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, as it stands, we haven't tried it out with, you mentioned the audio modeling ones, the SWAM was it? We haven't tried it out with those, but in theory it should work the same. I mean, you mentioned there's things like breath controllers, wind controllers, which all have different settings. I mean, if you're looking for like what you think would be the best thing, I'd be first more inclined to say keyboard controllers is more how it would be straight out of the box, but you can personalize it. We haven't got our own presets, that's something we've spoken about, but that is something that you can experiment and change with. the biggest things, I guess, in those sort of classical plugins is like expression and things like glides. So expression, we're currently working on, say like velocity for the voice. So as you sort of like, it takes velocity at the beginning of a note at the moment, but we're implementing it so it will change as the note goes on. So that's something you can map. Yeah. So in your MIDI settings of SWAM, you could set the expression for the envelope tracking, and it would then express as a classical instrument would.
So that's a little bit, when I was just talking earlier about, maybe we'll have some kind of functionality things to talk about. At the moment, our main aim is to hit our delivery deadline with the functionality as described and promised. That's fundamental aim number one. However, there are a couple of things that people have thrown up to us which we think, maybe we'll be able to take on board. An example of that is on the CC control. We currently have them fixed to a CC value. I think it's like, off the top of my head, it's like 12, 13, 14, 15 or something like that. We've chosen those originally because they don't clash with the typical automated mappings that you can get, for example, breath controllers and things like that. However, some people have said, is it possible to make it so that you can change what CC value it's going out to? And so that's something that we've got on our product backlog of thinking, if we get a chance to shove that in before release, we would love to. If we don't, then it'll just be in an update soon after. But then you would be able to create more exact mappings where if you wanted something to go to a specific CC value, you can map it from our side as well as from the other side.
Yeah. There are other things as well in work. So in the way that like glide in between strings and stuff, you might map that to a CC value. You can use sort of the pitch bend function in Dubler, where if you match the pitch bend to the glide and pitch bend settings of your SWAM sort of instruments, then as you sort of glide between notes, your strings or violins, cellos, etc., will do that. That's basically answered what I think the second question is as well. Which is
okay, well I'll read the second question, and we'll see whether or not it does, and then if it does, move on. So Xander says, "Hi guys, I know it's possible to get velocity MIDI information on a note you sing. Is it possible to use the volume of your voice to alter expression, like in classical libraries, for example?" Okay. So I mean, that's actually something that we haven't fully implemented yet. So I'm always a little bit cautious because David will be watching this stream, being like, release priorities, which is important. But we've got velocity in there at the moment. We've got the other valve controls. Envelope is certainly one of the things that's on our hit list. It should be. I think that one probably will be there. But even if it's not by release, again, it's the one that we soon after.
Yeah. So I've set up with those last two kind of questions being more sort of classically sort of involved. I've set up a few sort of more classical things so we can talk about those bits. So I've got on here some contact strings. So what we spoke about there about velocity and stuff. Well, just at the moment it sounds like. But with velocity, you have, say, velocity switches with these kind of plugins with strings. So I can set the velocity switch here to staccato. So if in the main setting you have a lower velocity for legato, and so then a higher velocity would be staccato, so you can kind of go like. And so you can hear there the legato on the lower velocity and then the staccato on the higher end. There's ways as well that you can use those velocity switches to move around and make your playing quite expressive with Dubler low. Yeah, of course, yeah. Go ahead. Check that legato.
That's where we want to get the.
Yeah, so you can change one side. Change up that staccato. You do big notes.
Okay.
So basically, it kind of works like that, and the same with sort of the brass one as well. Is that also has these velocity switches where You can put it to a shake, so when your velocity gets that shake, when you hear from those jazzy, crazy,
Just doing it now.
Yeah, if you do a long note, you'll hear it do that shake.
I can't really hear myself.
It's hard, we're just listening out of our laptop speaker, so it's hard to hear, but yeah. Same with like rip or something.
Nice. Yeah, it's I've got. Forgive me there. I can't really hear what I'm singing back, so then automatically I may well not be in pitch. But
yeah. So there's also I couldn't help but talk about orchestral stuff. So these like the London Contemporary Orchestra plugins. It's really easy with the pitch on them to make these nice kind of like expressive sounds using these kind of like Spitfire audio orchestral things. They can. I mean, the audio should be there for you. We're struggling to hear it through these speakers.
Can you hear it, Kelly?
I can hear it through here, but Instagram can't hear it so well.
Sorry, Instagram.
Yeah, you can hop over to YouTube if you're. Or we'll actually share the link to the YouTube where you'll get the full sound through as well.
Yeah, this will be uploaded so you can go and hear those lovely
just got
textures.
me and
Liam. Yeah, but that is so that's a quick look at the way you can use those velocity sort of switches to be expressive with classical instruments.
We've got 2 more questions, and maybe any others on the channel, so we're going to smash them out.
Yeah.
And then it's so hot, we should maybe just call it a day.
Yeah.
But we are working hard on everything normally. It's just baking. It's baking. Okay, Jason says, can the double mic also be used as a high quality? And he's put that in like this. And you definitely can use it like that. High quality. High quality USB recording mic as well as MIDI trigger. What's the noise floor and frequency response specification? Do you want me to answer this one?
Go for it. Sure.
Well, only because I've been dealing most closely with our mic suppliers. So on the frequency response stuff, we get all of those numbers back. We will actually get, cardiogram? We'll get all of those, the analysis and the measurements, the graphical representation of it again for the final, the production versions. We've had them for the various prototypes as we've gone along because we have made a few changes. So, for example, actually, I might have something to show. Oh no, we just had to pack everything up in the office and remove it because the floor got relaid. Everything's been lost, but we've changed the inner foam, for example, on the microphones. We did that because certain beatboxing sounds, it was very like niche because it was only for beatboxing and for certain beatboxers even. They would get really up close and they'd be like or something like that, and that really noisy sound was causing it was hard to analyse, so we slightly thickened up the density of the inner foam, for example. As soon as you do that, you then get a different frequency response, very minor change. But so we don't have quotable frequency, all of that analysis will come on the production version. Can it be used as a high-end mic? If I'm completely honest, people will use vocal mics for vocal mics. You can buy a £1,000 Rode microphone that people are using in studios in like Abbey Road and stuff like that. We would certainly not claim that this is like that. This microphone has been selected components-wise for our specific use case of being used for MIDI triggers. And so by all means you can use it for anything else. Nothing is locking or preventing any different use cases, but we only guarantee it as a good microphone for the Dubler Studio kit.
Yeah, I think the way we sort of look at it is with these mics is that we're trying to look at them not as microphones but as MIDI hardware. So it's a way that it's a sort of piece of technology that you use for your MIDI triggers and MIDI hardware. So although it does function as a mic because that's part of what it is, we like to think of it as a MIDI music.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we went USB, so it's portable. You don't have to have a separate audio interface. You can have it on the fly. It's got this like double shock housing for handling noise. That's something you probably wouldn't worry about if you had it on a mic stand. You certainly wouldn't be making slightly denser foam if you had a pop shield. Anyway.
Can be. Yeah, that is basically also the next question, is it? I think.
Oh, well, there you go. Is the mic audio recorded along with the MIDI instrument track in all doors? No, it's slightly different. Now, that is one of the... you can do that for sure, and we do it quite a lot when we want to analyze how well certain aspects of the microphone are working, and also when we want to check the latency. That's a very quick way to check that, if you're taking the audio and the MIDI at the same time. But a lot of the artists that we work with like to use a different audio interface for their DAW. So you can use the microphone as the audio interface for Dubler, and then because Dubler is just communicating to the DAW via MIDI, you can then use a different audio interface for your DAW. But that means if you want to take the actual raw audio from the mic into your DAW, then you need to use the Dubler microphone as the audio interface for the DAW. Oh, sorry, that was a little bit of a boring explanation.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically the option is there, but you know, it's up to you how you want to set it up. And in a lot of the videos that I've done on Instagram, you'll hear that there is the audio there, but that's purely so you can hear how it sounds in comparison and how it's in real time.
That's actually a good point. We probably don't do many videos without the vocal audio,
Yeah.
because we always want to illustrate what's happening. But of course, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but I mean, like for me personally, I'm not sure whether in that question you're asking because you want to or whether you don't want to. But so for me, when I'm actually making music, I don't want to hear that audio. I'm just using my sort of melodies to create tracks, and you don't have to. You don't hear it at all.
100%.
And so it can go either way. You can do both.
In all the stuff I do, I don't take any of the raw audio to use it. That's one of the beauties of it. When you with the headphones, you can't hear the voice; you just hear what's going out. And then, but we'll work with other people, particularly actually one of the things beatboxers like to do is blend the audio of their voice in with the kind of augmented audio that you get through MIDI, and then having those two kind of weave together is nice, but not with my voice. It's not.
Yeah, the majority of our users, I imagine, are using it for the MIDI capabilities. But yeah, if you want to on the side, record some audio, it's possible.
Right. Have we got any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to get some fans on. Okay.
Yeah, we have just a couple of questions, and it's: can you use more than one mic in the setup?
You can use more than one mic in terms of mic, as you know, the word mic in general. So you can have other mics going on and stuff, but in terms of Dubler mics, just the one. But
yeah, Dubler only takes one microphone. If you want it in your DAW, you could use another.
Yeah, I mean, if you had another mic set up side by side, you know what we were just talking about, recording both. You know, it wouldn't interfere with either, or you know, just basically singing or humming. You know, it could quite happily sit next to another mic and do what you wanted it to do.
Someone did ask me a question a bit like this, which was, could you plug two microphones in to use with one piece of Dubler software so that you could have two people doing a duet, one singing melodies, the other person kind of beatboxing the beat? And the answer to that is kind of no. You'd have to do like John and Paul and get up close to the microphone and actually kind of do it together. At the moment, maybe that'd be something that could happen eventually, but it's certainly not in the current plan.
So just a couple more questions. One from Rob on YouTube, and we've kind of covered this.
Hi, Rob.
But let's see what you guys think. Okay, during a live performance, how do you both listen to your voice so that you can stay on pitch as well as listen to the output?
Yeah. For me personally, my voice isn't that strong or that good, so even as it stands in terms of pitch, it's not actually often that close to what it is. But if I'm working on a track, so I've got a track going already, and I'm using Dubler, I normally use the pitch lock, so basically I'll stay into what key I'm using. And then as long as you're pretty close, I've never had a problem I can think where what I'm doing sounds pretty out. As long as you are close enough, you can set the pitch stickiness as well. So like if I normally have it quite high because my voice is a bit low and shaky and it can rumble a bit. So if I have the pitch stickiness high, normally if I go da da da, it stays pretty close to what I'm trying to do and will stay in key. So yeah, it's not so much of a problem for me. But
for me, it's slightly different. I really I don't mind about not hearing my own voice. What's really important is that I can hear the output very clearly and loud. So actually that's when we were just doing that demo before with the brass instruments, I was like, oh, this is really difficult because I couldn't hear what was coming out. And actually one of the things that I found, and other people I've spoken to, some people are similar, that your voice naturally kind of joins to whatever note you're singing. So if you're singing a sustained note like a kind of da, if you're slightly flat, but you're still close, then you're going to get the pure tone back as your MIDI tone of whatever instrument you're controlling, and then your voice will actually naturally correct to it. So for me, I need to hear that really strongly, and if I can't hear that, I'm more likely to be slightly out. And then the other thing that I use all the time, which is super helpful, is the pitch wheel. So it just is a. How do I switch over to it?
Yeah. So if we go over to here,
so just as like we've got a key fix on. I don't even know what key it fixes it. It's
currently
in,
on
right?
C sharp, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
C
So
sharp minor. Turn that off.
oh no, we'll turn it
Well,
on because this is kind of what I wanted to illustrate. It's like that's actually, if you go straight into a key fix, it's actually quite a difficult thing because I don't even know what the key is. But you can, oh, I've just knocked something. You can see with the dots. So if I go, if I go just half a step up, I've got another dot round, or I'd have to go a whole step down in order to hit the next note in the key. And go a full quarter up, and it just gives you that guide of how far you need to go in order to hit the next note. So yeah, I always kind of use that too. Anyway,
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, so final question that a couple of people have asked throughout the stream is, how much does it cost and when is it available?
Do you want to go for that?
it costs, well, it's available as in to buy it now. It will be available from the end of October onwards. Actually, to be honest, for buy it now, it'll probably be just after that because we're going to fulfill all of the pre-orders first, and they'll come first. So for those people, it will be delivered in October, or posted out in October. And the pre-order price for that is £220. You can pre-order it on Indiegogo. So if you buy it now as a pre-sale, it'll be fulfilled later in October, but you pay a discounted price of £220, or you can wait until after it's been kind of fully released and buy it in a more traditional, go on Amazon, order it, get it delivered that week, and that will be available after all the pre-sales have been fulfilled, which will be after October, and then the full price will be £295.
Cool, and I think we're already super hot in here. So
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
these guys have
I'm
done
sorry
so
my
well.
answers are so long and boring.
just
I was getting bored of my own voice then. I was like, I could have answered that question probably in about 10 seconds, and like 3 minutes.
Also, just a quick shout out to SLR. Sorry, I'm losing my voice as well. SLS Animations, who's been a big fan of Dubler from the start, and yeah, appreciate all your likes and comments on Facebook as well. And also hello to Lewis, who's just throwing a wave up. So,
Hey.
so yeah, we're out of here now. It's so hot. It's like nearly 40 degrees in London.
We're
so
doing, I don't know when the next AMA is, but we're doing one on August 9th.
August 9th, that's the next AMA.
That's the next one.
Yes.
And that one's going to be coming to you live from The Rattle, which is music co-working space in Tobacco Dock, and we're going there for a reason, because we want to stress test how loud we can turn up for the volume on Dubler until we have problems with feedback.
In between those things, if there's anything any of you want to see or know, write it in a comment anywhere on our socials. We look at all of them, and if there's a specific plugin or anything, I'll try to do a video if there's one close to what you have or